did.
So, how old were you when you decided to go into the war?
18 years old.
18 years old. And why did you go into the war?
After high school, I got a job with the Long Island Railroad. I refused a uh,
Deferment.
exemption.
Deferment.
What do you call it?
Deferment.
Yeah, I refused a deferment
Okay.
because I was entitled to because I was working in what do you call it? The critical area, whatever it is, you know.
Okay, yeah.
And after the deferment, I did refuse. The local airport sent me a notice right away. That I had to go for an examination at Grand Central Palace in New York. And I passed the examination, no problem, at 18. And at that time, they offered you whatever service you wanted to go in. Stupidly, I chose the U.S. Army.
Yeah.
The guys in the Marine, Navy and all were screaming at me because everybody wanted me because I was young. I took the Army because I had a brother killed in World War II in Germany, in France, and I figured I'd go in his footsteps, you know. He's
That's
still
nice.
in the Army, but he wasn't dead yet, but
Yeah.
he was in the service, you know. So I figured I'd follow his footsteps. So
Dad, I have a video.
I entered after passing my physical, you have 3 weeks to get your personal affairs taken care of. Okay. And then you go in and you get sworn in to the United States Army. Then a week later, you report to a certain place,
Where did you report to?
Jamaica Station, Jamaica.
Oh, from there, where did you travel to?
Then there was a contingent of non-coms. We put on a train and went to camp at Yampank, Camp, was it Yappank? Camp Upton.
Okay.
Camp Upton at Yappank. We stayed there 3-4 weeks to see where they would put us. At that time, they assigned me to the Air Force, and I refused it. So then I wound up in the infantry.
What was your main, like as a person, what was your main task? Like what were you assigned?
After I refused the Air Force, notices went on a board there for where you'd be going and what troops trains you could. And my name was on for Camp Walters, Texas.
Oh, wow.
The infantry training replacement center.
Mhm.
So I guess it was a couple of weeks later, but it was around Christmas time, I think. And went to Camp Walters, Texas. It was cold, real cold.
Were you homesick at all?
Yeah, well, Camp Walters is right out of Mineral Wells, Texas, about 50 miles from Fort Worth.
Oh, wow.
Mineral Wells is a health resort. They had mineral water there, a hotel. It was a nice area, but being in an infantry camp,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
wasn't that. We after 2 months in basic training, we got leave on Saturday afternoon, but there was not that much to do there. It's a
I
small
can imagine,
town,
yeah.
and maybe 10, 15,000 soldiers. So I took my infantry basic training at Camp Walters, 17 weeks, and that was very rugged and stuff.
Did you make any friends? Like, did you have any?
Oh, yeah, many friends. Met a lot of, but but we separated, you know, everybody
Yeah.
went their different ways after completing the training,
Mhm.
and they sent me to Camp J.T. Robinson in Arkansas, which is closed now, but was a infantry camp, and fortunately I did well in training, and they assigned me as a cadreman at the
What's a
Jim-
cadron?
uh, a non-commissioned officer that trains other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's a,
So-
oh, cool.
I got temporary stripes of
Mhm.
sergeant,
Mhm.
and
Wow.
I went through the basic training with these guys. They were from the Midwest, most of them, much older than me. The Army at that time, the draft at that time went to 26, then they went to 38 or something.
Mhm.
But they were crybabies and they discharged them. But most of them were 26 and older.
Yeah.
It was pretty hard to train those guys. And sometimes I got abused for them quite a few times, and I wasn't happy. And we had the same type of training. Went through the force marches, a 50-mile march,
Mhm.
the training of rifles, machine guns, and mortars and stuff like that. I doing it for the second time, so it was
Yeah.
practically nothing to
Yeah.
me.
Exactly.
But trying to train these guys, they have different specifics. I don't do everything,
Mhm.
you know. You just do one subject or something.
How?
You know, I was still 18, so I
Wow. How long were you at that?
JT
Yeah.
to June because
Wow, like
it's-
6 months.
Yes, well, like my 4 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Wow.
the captain said, "Will you want to work in the orderly room?" As a company clerk, I passed that up too. So
You like being in the action.
yeah, so what happened? He says, "Well, the reason why I asked you because D-Day was just about a week before."
What did you do on?
Well,
What did you do on D-Day? Like, were you involved in it at all or no?
not in D-Day, no, later on.
Oh,
And,
Luke, stop.
So
Luke.
he I got my shipping orders to go to Fort Benning, Georgia. That's in Columbus, Georgia. And I joined the 71st Infantry Division there.
Okay.
And they asked me what organization. I could have named anything like a jerk again. I says, a heavy weapons company.
Did
I
you?
know.
What did you name? That?
Yeah, I just got into a heavy weapons company.
Did you like working with weapons?
It's Company D,
Uh-huh.
the 1st Battalion. In the regiment there's 3 battalions. I was the 1st Battalion.
Okay.
And had to wait for a couple of weeks for it was just being organized. I was one of the first men there.
Wow.
So we had to wait for some replacements to come in. And what they did was getting so bad over in Europe, they took all these guys out of ASTP, Army Specialist
Yeah.
Training Program. Bunch of crybabies. They were used to desk work and stuff like that, studying, you know, and they get shipped into an infantry company, and they were tough guys. So I had to train with these people. So we trained in a heavy weapons company. You have machine guns, heavy mortars, BARs, small weapons,
Uh-huh.
60 millimeter weapons. But I trained in for the 81 millimeter.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that was the big one.
Did you like it?
Yeah. Well, we trained from July until December 43.
So you're pretty handy with the gun.
Yeah. So I was very familiar with
Yeah.
with the mortar gunner. So in December 44, now this is December 44,
Okay.
we get our shipping orders to go to Port of Movement,
Okay.
and that was Camp Kilmer, New Jersey, named after the poet, the guy who did
Yeah, yeah.
trees, Camp Kilmer.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we went there. That was going to be a stationary to board a ship to Europe. So January 6th, I think we sailed out. See, I got the back end of the war, which is okay. I mean, I had enough of it, but
I know, but you're still like,
yeah,
yeah, I know what you mean.
So we sailed out of from Kilmer. We went to Staten Island
Mm-hmm.
and got on a Navy transport, which was named after. Well, the transport was Bliss. That was it. I don't know the face name of it, but I forget.
It's okay.
Yeah, well, and of course the Red Cross was there to give us donuts and coffee. We got a 70-pound pack of garbage on our back, and the ladies there giving us donuts and coffee. Nowhere to skid it. I mean, you took we had a look. I didn't take any coffee. I took a donut. And I had to keep it in my mouth. So we get on the ship, and we go on the largest convoy ever assembled in the U.S.
Wow. What was? Wasn't
was-
it the 71st Division?
Yeah, but 7th Device Division was divided up in 2 troop ships because a
Wow, that's
regiment
big.
is close to 1,400 men.
Wow.
So it's a couple. I was on the flagship. That's where all the brasses and that's where all the orders.
Oh, I
are.
heard of that before. Okay.
Huh? You
I
know
heard of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think
So
we learned
is that-
about this.
And we was at sea for about 10 days.
Uh-huh.
And
Where'd you
we-
travel to?
well, we went zigzagging, but we were hit by a submarine on the bow. Just clicked it over, missed it. It didn't have to do nothing because it just barely hit us.
Oh.
And we got destroyer escorts all over the place. And since we were a flagship, we always had 2 destroyers next to us, and these guys be talking over the loud phones, chasing that subway. I don't know whatever happened, but that was a little exciting. I mean, we got up on deck. We was down in the hole. They called everybody up, you know.
That's so cool.
And they took us by the Azores, Canary Islands,
Uh-huh.
and all the porpoises jumping up and down. The weather was beautiful. Like, if I had to go anyways, I'd like to go to the Canary Islands. It's nothing like it.
Oh.
Spain is a possession of
Uh-huh.
Spain, you know. And,
Yeah.
And then from the Canary Islands, they shoot us up north, and we hit Ireland, and it's all, I could see the whole island with you know, the way you see it on a map.
Like you could see the outline of it?
Yeah, everything was, you know, it was about 30 feet high,
Wow.
above the water, with rock and stuff.
That's
So
beautiful.
maybe it was too good to think that we're going to go there. First of all, Ireland was not in the war.
Mm-hmm.
Only the British part, North Ireland,
Okay.
which is Great Britain,
Okay.
still is Great Britain.
Yeah.
So we landed at Southampton, the Isle of Man,
Okay.
in London, England. It's only about 50 miles. So we figured we'd be getting off, but we get in the harbor, and the harbor masters were a couple of ladies, a couple of women that were the harbor pilots that get us in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You can't go into like here in New York, you got to have a pilot that bring you in. A ship can't go in there. They'll go on the sandbar or something. You got to know your waters.
Yeah.
So on the loudspeaker, the commander or the guy in charge of the ship says, "Now hear this, now hear. We have a couple of lady harbor pilots coming on. We don't want you giving them respect. We don't want no cat calls from you guys." So we stayed there overnight. We didn't land. The next morning, we crossed the English Channel to Le Havre, France. That was all bombed out. We had to disembark on the ship. It was pretty hard because of the way the waters are. Everything was desolate and ruined. There was not a building in sight.
How'd you feel about when you
So
saw
I
that?
wasn't too happy about it, you know, because they, we after we landed, they put us on cattle cars.
Oh,
trucks.
with like
Yeah, it was like the cat.
Yeah.
Well, they are. The cat will go on the truck. That's the same kind of truck that, and I guess
Wow.
100 GIs got on the truck, and they go about 10 miles
Mm.
and stop and let us off for the next morning because it's pitch black and you can't have lights and anything like that, you know.
Oh yeah, because you're
So yeah, so they dump us in the field and we had to use our sleeping bags. And the next morning we wake up and we're in with a bunch of cows and all their dung and all their garbage. Oh my God! So we loaded back on the trucks and we went to the cigarette camps. Like they had Old Gold, Chesterfield, Lucky Strike.
What are
So,
cigarette camps?
Cigarette camps is a staging area for training to go into combat.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And so I went to staging area, I went to was Old Gold.
Mm.
So we stayed at Old Gold, went on maneuvers, night training.
How long were you there for?
Let's see, 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
More like 4 weeks. Because I entered, well, I was lucky. I entered combat, let's see, about, let's see, February 15th. This is pretty good.
Wow. Like fighting combat?
Yeah, we was up against opposition. We relieved a infantry company was on the line for about a couple of months, and they were glad to see us. We relieved them just east of Nancy, France.
Wow.
And the name, well, you won't believe this, the name of the town we relieved them at was Bitch, B-I-T-C-H-E. You know something? And we used to say, yeah, it was, really. Yeah. So we're stationary there for a while. We was getting heavy shells and stuff, and we by that time we had replacements with the mortar gunners, so
Yeah.
all we did was with the forward observers do it with the aiming stick and stuff like that, and fire our weapons. And usually in a mortar section, if one gun will fire, then they reverse it and go back to the, like maybe 6 guns will be firing, but never at the same time because then they know where you are. So, so if you have an aim stick, and also the trajectories for the heavy weapons, 81 millimeters, about a mile and a half, 2 miles at most for effect,
Okay.
you know, for the terrestrial. So you have to figure that out too. You've got an aim stick. Well, it's a little, I can't do it now. I forget too much, you know. But then I was in water. Then if we have infantry company in front of us, because we're heavy, but we are more or less supporting them.
Okay.
When they move out, we move out.
So are they
know?
on the same side as you right now?
Huh?
Are they like on your team, basically?
They're on the field, yeah.
Okay.
You get casualties too, but the odd part about casualty, our first casualty was a lieutenant who was killed by his own men, a trigger-happy guy.
Wow.
The lieutenant was checking the positions, and the guy got trigger-happy and shot him, killed him right. That was our first casualty. That was the first day too.
Wow.
It's horrible. But as the infantry moved, we moved as well. Well, from Bitch, we went to Pierre Mason. We crossed the Siegfried Line, right at Pierre Mason's. Germany was the first first part of Germany, and that was the Siegfried line comprised of all cement bunkers camouflaged with corn stalks and wheat
Wow.
and stuff. But you knew what they were for the fact that, well, we didn't get too much opposition for that. We got opposition from the city of Peer Masons, a lot of dead animals and people there with mortar and artillery fire. So
Wow.
from Peer Masons, we went to Mannheim, Germany.
Okay.
Mannheim, Germany. By that time, it was Easter Sunday. I remember it was Easter Sunday at Mannheim. And there was another stationary for another attack. So, believe it or not, we went to Mass that day. The only time I saw the priest was that day there. Never saw him after that. So, from Mannheim, we go to Fulda.
Mhm.
In Fulda, half of the town was bombed up, and there was a cemetery there. The cemetery had more bomb shells than the town.
Wow.
Would you believe that?
Yeah.
Don't forget, we have planes also doing aerial bombing before we get there, you know? I think this is what happened. Some of the planes they're supposed to have a better,
Like, yeah, better target.
well, the target, they're supposed to have a better scope. They have the, I think where you aim from a height, you can aim and the bombardier knows where to drop it. But half the time,
Yeah, I don't really think that matters.
you know, I heard that from the Air Force.
Okay.
So we take Fulda, then we go on to Coburg, Germany.
Okay.
And Coburg is a university town. We got there April 12th. I remember April 12th because that was the day President Roosevelt died. And everybody mentioned we had a lot of guys died, but also I lost my lieutenant that day.
Wow.
He was in the lead jeep and I was behind him. Because we did travel with more to go on this. We did travel, if it was possible, on the road with the weapons and the weapons carriers. And there was a hospital there with some fanatic Nazi. He's the only target we had because the mayor came out and talked to our colonel about making it an open city, and everybody had white flags, and
Wow.
we didn't have to take the city by force.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just went in, and we never expect this nut. You know, well, they got him, but it was in a hospital, shot from a window.
Wow. So it was like a trick?
But we stayed there a few days. It was a fun city because we got to drink a lot of beer because there was a lot of beer places there, and the German house fries are giving us beer like crazy, you know. Of course, we captured a lot of Germans then.
Yeah.
Well, captured. They surrendered because it was an open city. What was there, they surrendered.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. From Coburg, we went to Beirut. Oh, besides that, we crossed a couple of rivers. I crossed the Rhine River at Remagen
Wow.
on the Smoke. That was a tough crossing. Across the dam. Well, I didn't get to the dam yet. And there was a few rivers we had to cross, which were no bargains. Getting to Europe by boat was a lot easier. So, went to Beirut. And our weapons caused a lot of fire. And the Germans were putting out the fires, you know, and the Wehrmacht, the army, moved out. So we just moved in. And they captured a German general with two of his aides, and I happened to be there. So the captain says, you have to watch this guy and his two aides. We're going to give you a couple other guys, other soldiers. And he says, we got the hotel here right next to Richard Wagner's opera house. Yeah, it was right next to his opera house. Still today it's there. So I said, gee, we're getting a hotel. I don't mind that. You know, getting a place to
Pampering.
sleep. Nothing wrong with it. Getting a bed and sleep. Well, we got into General and his two aides. He was a smart aleck. He grinned all the time at us, you know. We go and check on him every half hour. They would just laugh at us. And bed check Charlie comes along and bombs us with anti-personnel bombs. And the whole hotel bombed my room where I was next to the general. He didn't get hurt either. And the blast was an implosion and it came in and I was like that. So I missed getting hit. Maybe
Thank
a couple
God.
of, yeah. I
How'd
didn't
you
get hit.
feel about what was your emotions at the time? What
What?
were your emotions? Were you scared?
It's so sudden you can't be scared because our job was the officer coming running over. The officer day he didn't get hit either. He says, "Go and see the general. See how he's doing." So
Wait,
I had
were
no
you
time
guarding?
to think.
Were you guarding the opponent's general?
Yeah,
So you
the
captured
Nazi
him?
general, yeah,
Oh wow. Okay.
the way my general.
Okay.
It's in the books.
Mhm. What's his name?
I got it in a book.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry.
I got his picture too.
Really?
Yeah, and well, so after that, we move out. 2 days later, fires are out. Everything's cleaned up. The guys got hit. Went to the medics, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
So we move out. And one of the companies that I was with come across the airport, the German airport, also with the general's home that was there. The guy that committed suicide with cyanide, I forget his name. He was the general of the Air Force.
Hmm.
He was a big fat guy. I forget his name. I can't think of it.
I'll look it up. Don't worry.
His name skipped by me, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm trying to think. He committed suicide. The other guys were hanged at Nuremberg, you know, they
Yeah.
found him guilty. But he's the guy that poisoned himself with cyanide, so he got away from getting hanged. Can't
Wow.
think of his
Oh.
name. Yeah, you just ask your teacher, will tell you right away.
Oh.
And so we found his palatial palace he had. They all had beautiful homes. So we still had to move out under fire, and we get to the Rhine River,
Mhm. Yeah, I know where that is.
yeah, in Regensburg.
Mhm.
I crossed at Regensburg, just a little south, and what happened at crossing that, the engineers brought down the boats across the paddle across the Danube. Danube wasn't too wide up there,
Mhm.
maybe 100 yards, 300 feet. And it looked pretty simple, but I didn't expect what was going to happen. I get in a boat and one other guy gets in and there's some stupid lieutenant, which I didn't even know. He said, "Get going, because we were being shelled. Get on the
Wow.
other side." So me and this other guy were all by ourselves. Oh, heavy weapon. I only got a carbine weapon on me. That's what we carry on with. So I'm separated now from my heavy weapons coming.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to see them till maybe 3 or 4 miles away, but I had to cross a big pasture with this guy and me with the boat. Couldn't even wait on the other side because we being fired on, and fire was going on. I must have missed 100 bullets, yeah, by zigzag.
Wow.
So finally I get to a street, and we don't know what to do. There's a farmer with a bunch of chickens there. And I'm a chicken guy anyway from Valley Stream. So I said to the guy, I said, "We better wait here. We can't do nothing ourselves." So then finally our outfit came, you know.
Good. Finally.
And I joined the outfit, and it wasn't too good. By that time it was last part of April. I think it was around April 25.
Okay.
And after Regensburg, we went to the Inns River. That separates Germany and Austria.
Wow.
So we got held up at the Inns River because the bridge was mined and was they were ready to detonate it, to blow it up. Yeah, but our colonel called for engineers to deactivate the wire, and so they did that. And those guys got silver stars. I got nothing. I'm sitting at the. Well, I didn't do
Yeah.
anything but cross. So after that was we was able to cross the Inns River. There's two rivers. The other one was that we met the Russians. Now we're in Austria. Oh, besides that, we liberated 3 concentration camps. Mauthausen, can't think of the other one. Well, Mauthausen was a pretty big one. Then Steyr, nobody knows Steyr concentration camp, and then it was, I can't think of the other kind. And it was kind of gruesome. This took a couple of days, we liberate these people.
Wow.
They're all fleeing and screaming and every other thing. All we could do is give them a little chocolate bars we have and cigarettes or whatever we had.
Were they mostly like Jewish prisoners?
Yeah, most of them were Jewish. But we liberated also 15 white camps that were Polish and French, and people like that, displaced people, and they had them as white camps. As we approached those white camps, usually on the Red Bull Highway, let's see, what would I talk about?
Wait, you crossed over into Austria.
Yeah, well, with the Jewish inmates there, and all the dead bodies we.
Wow. Was it traumatizing?
12, 15, huh?
Was it traumatizing? Traumatizing?
Oh, yeah. It was a sad sack, very sad. Trying to think of the other concentration camp. Well,
Wasn't like Lunsburg or something?
Well, there's quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Quite a few. In that part, that's south of Bavaria and Austria.
Were the camps in Germany or Austria?
2 of them were in Germany, 1 was in Austria. The Steyr one. Steyr is a small town, city.
In Austria?
Yeah, which we wound up, we met the Russians right there.
Wow.
At the Elbe River, I don't know what river it was. We met the Russians there. And, but before the Russians came in, all the soldiers, all the Wehrmacht crossed the river to surrender to us.
Wow.
So we were overwhelmed with prisoners. 90,000 surrendered to us to get away from the Germans, the Russians.
Yeah.
90,000. So we just put them in fields, and they had their horses. They killed the horses for food because they couldn't feed that many.
Yeah.
So the animals they killed to eat, but we had all that. But their weapons had to be turned in right away. They dropped them, and they were glad to get out.
Yeah.
Our military government started discharging them within a week. Anybody who was a farmer was allowed to go home that was a prisoner.
Wow, that's
So
good.
So the 90,000 was a
You told me
big
quiet.
amount of people, prisoners. Well, the war was coming to an end. We happened to be we talked to the Russians and all. No big deal, like they are now,
Yeah.
with this Crimea and all. And I got pictures of them. And the war was about a week away over. So what happened, Oh, yeah. What happened, it was on, the main road was on the way where the German officials were gonna go to sign the treaty, not
Uh-huh.
treaty, the surrender, at Reims, I think Reims, France, or I don't,
Was it first?
well, we guarded the road for them to get swift passage for the surrender.
Wow.
And we end up being the furthest east division of any American division. Our division, we traveled in combat 900 miles.
Wow, you were like all over the world.
Huh?
You went all over the world.
And I wish I could remember more, but I can't.
No, that's so helpful.
So, oh yeah, we guarded the the people who were going to surrender. So after that, we settled back in Austria because then the war was over and it became a routine thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't stay there that long. I was there about, the name of the town I was at was in Fishhock. There's some name, right
Yeah.
outside, it was a farm town. It
Uh-huh.
was nice. It was nice not being shot at too, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine.
And from there, I was transferred, same outfit. We sent to Augsburg.
Yeah, Augsburg.
That's still Austria, isn't it, or Germany?
I think it's
Germany.
Yeah, Germany.
Yeah, that's where Martin Luther,
Uh-huh.
they have his whole place there.
Yeah.
And we went to a German military camp, it was in Kassel, and we settled down there for occupation.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there for occupation for a while, and then we were with General Patton, and the high point guys were able to go home, but the low pointers weren't going home because the war in Japan was still on.
Were you a high pointer or a low pointer?
I was a low point. I was 19 years old.
Oh wow, yeah.
If the points go by age,
Mm-hmm.
by marriage, children, stuff like that.
Okay.
We had the same years of service. That doesn't mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The guy with 60 points got home. I only had 39. I don't know how they figured, but 39 against 60, I didn't have no chance. Anyway, they were going to redeploy me. So what happened? They transferred me out of my division because my division was going to be deactivated and go back to the States. So they sent me to the 9th Infantry Division at Berchtesgaden, Germany. Right across
Wow.
the street is Austria.
Yeah.
And the Austrian palace is right there. You probably saw it on the movie already. And Berchtesgaden is a beautiful place. Well, I was there for about a week. I got this, go up to see Hitler's eagle. That's where he stayed and glorified himself in the world, you know. But it was all bombed out because our Air Force bombed him out.
So you were there at the place where Hitler stood, basically? Were you there at the place where Hitler?
Hitler, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
His eagle's nest.
Yeah.
Went up there, and it's such a steep movement. Only one or two drivers. They had special drivers going up there. None of us could drive it. I wouldn't do it anyway.
Oh.
Because
mm-mm.
there's no guardrails or nothing. It's straight up, and you could drop down into the mountain, which is maybe 5,000-6,000 feet.
Oh my gosh.
And so there's a hotel there now and everything. I wanted to go back. I wanted to take your grandmother. She's not interested. Never went back.
You should go.
Yeah, I know. I'm not too old to go by myself.
No.
Yeah, so I'm at Berchtesgaden, doing pretty good, having a good time. And one day the company commanders, every morning we had to fall out for roll call. You know, it's still the army. and
Yeah.
They don't want to know where you are. So the company commander, I forget his name. So I'm looking for 2 volunteers, and everybody saying, "Oh, I'm not going to volunteer nothing." So I said, I raised my hand. All right, I can't tell you what you're going to be doing, but you pack your bags and we go by we'll have a Jeep for you. And it turned out to be a good deal. So I went to Rosenheim, Germany, which is about 300 miles from there.
Wow.
So I know Germany pretty well.
Yeah.
So I get to Rosenheim, and it's a special police just for German people. You see that the German people observe the military laws that are out,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
and every day we would go to different places where Germans would be to see, you know,
That's pretty good.
yeah, it was good for a while. Even had a restaurant, cook, a couple of people playing violin for supper.
Wow.
Oh, we had pretty good. We had a Jeep. We rode all over the place. You know, as far as that's the cities around in Rosenheim.
Wow. That's a big place
And,
too.
Of course, in Rosenheim Square, they had the bakery. A couple of times I went for my haircut with a German barbers. And I look at him, slip my throat for two cigarettes, so I get a haircut. So settled down to army occupation. I did that for a while, about 3 months. I was army occupation for a full year.
Wow. Like after that or the
After the
entire?
war. Yeah.
Wow.
I could have went home earlier because my brother was killed, but I didn't. I said, "Boy, you sent me home now?
Yeah.
I was to have some of the fun." But I didn't. Yet the A-bomb wasn't dropped yet. That was dropped August 6th.
Yes,
This
August
was
6th.
still July, you know.
Yeah.
Once the A-bomb dropped, because I was still on redeployment regardless. I mean, there didn't know one that was going to come up, regardless of what your occupation was. If you got your number up for redeployment, no matter where you are, you're going to go. So the A-bomb dropped, and the war in Japan was almost over, so they canceled my orders and everybody else's. We were going to go out of Marseille, France, and through the Suez Canal.
Where were you? Where were you? When the A-bomb dropped? Were you
I
still
think
in Germany?
Rosenheim.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Rosenheim.
Okay.
And then I spent a year in occupation after the police. That only lasted a couple of months. Had to go for prison detail and watch prisoners.
Wow.
That was all right. I stayed in the prison, and me and this other guy, we had a room right behind the kitchen, and the cooks really took care of us all the time. We had coffee all the time. We had cornbread anytime. I still like cornbread. They took care of us. So, but still, we had to go on the towers. That lasted about 3 months. Being a special policeman, we had the Tally Ho raids.
Wow.
Remember the Tally Ho? You know about the
Yeah.
Tally Ho? Where you round up the
Yeah, like the
Nazis?
Yeah.
Yeah, we wound up plenty of Nazis going and just handing the house fly to a housefrau or the man a piece of paper to come with us, and that was it. Like, get their jacket and coat, and off they go, and kids and mom would be crying like crazy. I did a lot of that. And we also invaded a lot of apartments to see if there's any contraband or anything that they're not supposed to have.
Did you find anything?
Yeah, a bunch of stuff all the time. But after bringing out all the things that they're not to have, then we get searched.
Just in case you have it, yeah.
Because I figured, if you could make $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was not possible with the army because they searched you, you know, even with your weapons, they take your weapon out and all. So the tally hole raids and the special police, the army camp. Then it was almost time to go home. That was in 45. February 45, I got my orders to go, but I didn't get home till May. I
Wow.
went to Bad Tolz, Germany. That was the stationary. I spent 3 weeks there just to get a train to go to Bremerhaven.
Wow. And then the train.
Yeah, was there 3 weeks in Bremerhaven. The ship that was butchered, that Brennan ship that they,
Yeah.
yeah, that was there. They made it. They took it out of commission. The Germans did something to that.
Was
The
it like the Lusitania? Wait, no, I don't think so.
What was that Bremerhaven? I forget. You know.
Yeah, me too.
And so get sailed on a Liberty ship. I don't know the name now. I did know it. Let's see what I get. Liberty ship took 11 days to get home. Next night. Probably April 25 was a year later. I left Bad Tulsa. No, I got to Bremerhaven from Bad Tulsa. I think it was about April 25. Spent 2 or 3 days there. Might have been a little sooner had to be because it took 11 days to get back.
To the United States?
No,
Oh, wait.
Dad, this is a show.
No, Bremerhaven. Well, we sailed out of Bremerhaven because I had some trophies that they said we could keep if I registered them and declared them. Stupid me, I did.
Huh.
I noticed I had 2 Lugers, a couple of Leica Priere. They said we could keep these these trophies.
Wow.
I got back in the States, it was not there. But even I had a tailored uniform that they took away from me too.
Wow.
Went home with a baggy uniform. If I had that today, I still could use it. But Bremerhaven was tough going back home. The seas were tough. It was a Liberty ship, not a transport. So
Yeah. I mean,
it went up and down, bouncing. You could feel the rudder and every damn thing.
oh.
Yeah, it was horrible. So to keep myself busy, I volunteered for the kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want to be doing nothing like other guys.
Yeah.
So I was able to eat good, eat what I wanted, when I wanted it.
Yeah.
Because on this troop ship, you only eat twice a day, you know.
Wow.
You don't eat no lunch. They don't have time or
Yeah.
energy, whatever it is to feed. So I spent 11 days and got back and
What'd you
they
do when you
had
got
the
home?
harbor fire boats out there giving us with hoses and all.
Oh yeah, like the saluting.
Yeah,
Wow.
what a send off they gave us, what a home welcome they gave
Yeah.
us. So it was terrific. I'll never forget that. And as we disembarked, we went by train to Fort Dix,
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
And that's where I got discharged. We stayed there 3 or 4 days, then I was discharged.
Wow.
And once I was discharged, I went back to the mess hall because I figured it was lunchtime. I couldn't go back because when you go back, when you get discharged, they have someone sign on your blouse, the ruptured duck. You see, that's what, if you have that on, you can't go back in the mess hall. And once the army says you're no more army, they won't even give you a spoonful of nothing. So from there, from Dixon, I got a bus to Elizabeth. That's the closest town. Elizabeth to Penn Station, and Penn Station Valley Stream. And nobody was there for me either. I went there by myself. Went home, and that's it.
What'd you do after that? Did you
Hmm?
just what
Well,
job did you
I
find?
was mixed up now. I
Yeah.
was pretty mixed up.
Yeah.
So things didn't go for me too good then.
I know.
There's more. I didn't give you the specifics.
No,
but-
no, that's beyond what I needed. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Okay. Is that recorded?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I'll make a video if you want.
You'll be able to decipher